Sit here.
Well, hey everybody, Jefferson Graham with USA Today here with Beth Weise, and we are talking the Samsung Note, the exploding Note, and I actually think, Beth, that we should stand up. Let's give it a try. We're going to come back a little further.
Jefferson's a little taller than I am.
Okay. Very
Okay,
good.
poor
Okay,
Jefferson.
so I'm out of the shot, but that's okay. It's you that matters. Tell everybody what's happening. Fill in.
So, if you go on, poor Jefferson, I'll try and stand taller. So if you go on social media right now, you're going to see tweets wondering what's up with the Samsung Note phone, which last week Samsung in a early morning press conference in Seoul revealed that at least in 35 cases, the battery as it was being charged on these phones exploded. So that's not good. So Samsung says, okay, we're going to take them back. We're going to swap them out for a new phone. Everything's going to be good. Now you're starting to see things on social media here in the States saying, where's the Consumer Product Safety Commission in all of this? That's the federal agency that's tasked with making sure that products are safe for consumers. And what I found out today from my reporting is that actually the Consumer Product Safety Commission doesn't have the, I know it's hard,
It's all about you.
doesn't have the legal ability to immediately conduct a recall. They, in fact, work with companies and through a little bit of arm twisting, and in many cases the company doing the right thing, get companies to actually issue recalls. But an official recall has not been released on the Samsung phones yet. And it probably won't be for a couple of days.
Right, and this is the new Note. People were so excited when it came out because it looked really futuristic with wireless charging and waterproof, and you could unlock the phone with your eyes. They said this is a real true state-of-the-art phone, this Note 7.
Except for the little problem of the exploding batteries. But yeah, it was, I mean, it launched on, was it August 18th? So it's only been out for 3 weeks. And they'd sold 2.5 million of them. A goodly portion of that was in the United States. So a lot of folks in America went out, bought these things, and then Friday they find out that there's a problem with the phone, and Samsung's saying, don't use them, return them. And then you get into kind of this legalistic issue of, is it a recall? Is it not a recall? The thing, why would you even care if they'd been officially recalled or not? Well, the issue is if there's been an official recall, it is illegal to sell one of these phones, sell or resell. So if you found one, it would be illegal. Nobody could go on Facebook on eBay and resell them. They have to be off the market. That hasn't happened yet. It's probably not going to happen for a while because it actually takes the Consumer Product Safety Commission it can take 24 hours to a couple of days for them to do all of the machinations they need to do to be able to get Samsung to do the recall. Now, if Samsung said, we're not going to do the recall at all, it's unlikely. I realize they would probably not do that. But what I found fascinating is that the Consumer Product Safety Division does not have the legal authority to actually force a recall. They have to go before an administrative law judge and get a judge to say, yes, you can do this recall. And that process can take up to a year, which is why they like 99% of their cases, they actually work it out voluntarily. But
I have a question for
Sure.
you. This is the Note 7.
Right.
There have been 6 other Notes. There have been a whole bunch of Galaxies. Why didn't they explode, and what happened? What changed?
It's a new battery maker, and it's interesting. For example, they're not being pulled in China because it was a different battery maker there. And I think, as in with all devices, we all want the newest, the greatest, the coolest, the best. We want companies to come out with new things, so they work to come out with new things. They build them, they ship them. 2.5 million of these go out, and of that, 35 have this problem. So that's a very low failure rate, which means they probably didn't pick it up in testing. And then you kind of get crowdsourced testing, because when you really throw these things out into the world, you start to see what the real issues are. So someone online can work out the math of 35 out of 2.5 million, but it's a pretty low percentage.
Yeah, but it's interesting timing, because this was, I think, 2 weeks ago that they came out with the phone. They introduced the phone. And tomorrow, tomorrow here in San Francisco, Apple's going to introduce a new iPhone, and it looked like Samsung had pretty much cleaned Apple's clock in the innovation department because Apple is supposedly not going to really add a lot of new features to this phone beyond a new camera and better power and more memory. But now who's looking like the smarter cookie?
I know, I feel really, I mean, you got to feel badly for the guys at Samsung. I mean, those folks in Seoul must be going crazy because they were out ahead. They had a great product. Things were looking really, really good. Wow, momentum. And then talk about hitting a brick wall. I mean, they really did. Now, and they're doing everything. I mean, they're doing all the things one should. They're letting people come in and exchange for a new phone. They're going to give them a $25 gift certificate off on other Samsung products. I mean, they're working to do right by the consumers, but what consumers want is a phone that is perfectly 100%
You mean a
safe.
phone that doesn't blow up?
Well, only when you're charging it. It was only 35, but still, you don't want to be one of those that's going to do that. So yeah, everybody, if you got one of these phones, you need to go in, you need to exchange it, you need to get something where this isn't going to be a problem. And yes, it's a huge black eye for Samsung. Okay,
there we go.
yeah.
Are hoverboards still exploding?
You know, hoverboards aren't, but that's because the Consumer Product Safety Commission they have actually done official recalls there, and they've actually now put together with a couple of labs. Underwriters Labs is the best known, but there's a couple of labs that have written very specific rules for what the kind of battery that you have to use in a hoverboard so that it wasn't a problem. The problem with hoverboards it was something that somebody kind of came up with, oh, wow, wouldn't this be cool? Somebody cobbled it together. They started producing millions of them in China. I mean, they were showing diagrams of some of these things online. I mean, they were just taking a bunch of lithium-ion batteries and stringing them together and instead of using one integrated power pack, they'd have, 5 or 6 of them inside one of these hoverboards. Poorly designed, and they were really having troubles. So those are off the market now. You can't get those anymore. You're just starting to see ones coming out which have the Underwriter Labs seal of approval. Other labs will be coming out soon that also have their seal of approval, and then you'll actually know that it's a hoverboard that isn't going to explode or the battery's not going to burst into flame when you're charging it. I mean, but houses were burning down, people were injured. I mean, and the thing about lithium-ion batteries is I talked to a guy at a national lab that's all he does he's a physicist. He does battery design and research. And he said lithium-ion batteries are not inherently any more dangerous than, the batteries that you've got in the toys your kids have at home, double A's. The issue with lithium-ion is they pack a lot more energy into a smaller space. And anytime you've got more energy in a small space, if that energy gets out quickly, you get heat, you get power, you get flame, bad things happen. So and lithium and ion batteries are in everything that we own. It was funny, the scientist that I spoke with said, well, sure, I mean, you could power your cell phone with a lead acid battery, but it wouldn't be a cell phone anymore because it would not be mobile because it would weigh as much as a car battery, and we can't do that.
And of course, you can't take a product with a lithium-ion battery on a plane.
Well, you do every day when you take your laptop or you take your cell phone, but you can't take separate lithium ion, and you couldn't take hoverboards on. Actually, I don't know if they've changed the rules now for hoverboards now that we actually have some which are being built in a approved manner. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you the big question. Do you believe that the Note 7 will be recalled?
Yes, I definitely do. I can't imagine that the Consumer Product Safety Commission won't recall it. It's just going to take them a couple of days to pull together the paperwork and to work the details out with Samsung. But yes, yes, they will do that. No question about it.
All right. So I'm going to come back down to earth. Let's sign off. I'm Jefferson Graham with USA Today in San Francisco with Elizabeth Weise.
And Jefferson, it's so exciting to have you here for the Apple announcement tomorrow. That'll be fun.
And we'll be live again tomorrow as well. So thanks everyone for watching. And I'll step out of the shot and click. Come on.
Language on your video?
What's that?
I tweeted to say, why isn't the Samsung phone being recalled? Reporter Beth Weise explains.
How do we stop this thing?
Jane, stop this crazy thing.
Stop it, stop it, stop it. Huh. At least turn that way. How do we turn it off?
It doesn't
Help.
want to go off.